What is up, guys? So Sports is back in another video, and in today's video I have 3 players who I believe the Orlando Magic should trade for. Now, the Orlando Magic, I believe, made a weird move this offseason. At least for me, I thought that they would be a team that would definitely let Nikola Vucevic walk, but instead they re-signed him on a 4-year, $100 million deal, fully guaranteed with no player option at all. So yeah, it's just straight 4 years, and it's just weird considering last year you made the playoffs for the first time since you traded away Dwight Howard, and you only won 1 game, and Nikola Vucevic had the best season of his career in a contract year, so maybe that says something. He's 28, and you have a lot of youth on your team, and you re-sign him. Personally, I just thought it makes sense to, go after the youth movement, build around Aaron Gordon and Jonathan Isaac, and see if Markelle Fultz can be something for you, because frankly, Nikola Vucevic cannot be like the best player on a deep playoff team, in my opinion. He's more suited to be the 3rd option. Maybe he can even be the 2nd option in my eyes. But I mean, the good thing about this deal, at least, is that the deal is front loaded. So as the deal progresses and stuff, it'll get lower and lower. I think the first year is 28, the second year is 26, 24, and then 22. And that's good, because after the second year, that contract is tradable. If Nikola Vucevic is still putting up around 15 and 9ish, 15 and 10ish when he's 30, and he's only making just above 20 mil a year, a team will definitely bat on that deal, and you can definitely get a good something good back. But in my eyes, this just looks like a win now move. Again, as I said earlier, this is the first time the Orlando Magic have experienced playoff success since Dwight Howard has left. Even though they only won 1 game, I mean, just to get a taste obviously set them off. But yeah, with that being said, I have 3 players who I believe they should trade for if they're looking to win now, and 1 player to trade for, it's kind of iffy. But with that being said, let's get into it. So the first player I want to talk about is Kyle Lowry. Now, talking about Kyle Lowry trade, me personally, I don't think they should trade for him. That's just my personal opinion. But I mean, Kyle Lowry is still a great NBA player. He's the guy who last year put up just under 15 points per game and just under 9 assists, was an all-star, and won a championship. He's a vet guy that'll definitely help you out in the locker room, because this team is full of youth. You're talking about Aaron Gordon, Jonathan Isaac, Mo Bamba, Markelle Fultz, Chuma Okeke. Excuse me if I'm butchering that name, but the guy who they just drafted this past year. It's just tons of youth on this team, and then you have the one vet guy in Nikola Vucevic. I mean, I don't know. It kind of makes sense to me if you were looking to win now. Of course, I don't know. If I'm the Magic, I probably don't make this trade, in my honest opinions, considering that Kyle Lowry is more than likely going to be a 1-year rental, because his contract is up within this year, and he's owed $34 million, which is a lot. And Kyle Lowry is 33 now. So I don't know if he can replicate what he did last season, but this is just a big win now move in my eyes. Thinking about a trade that I would do, it would probably be Kyle Lowry for Evan Fournier. It just pains me to say this. For Evan Fournier, Markelle Fultz, and Mo Bamba. Now, before you guys crucify me in the comments, because I know somebody will, let me just explain this trade, what I was trying to think when I made this trade. So for me, this will probably have to be around the trade deadline type of ordeal for the Magic and for the Raptors. For the Raptors standpoint, I think it's if the season doesn't go as planned. If you're hovering around 500 or you're just a few games back, I think this will be time to cut it and trade those old guys to get yourself some young assets so you can rebuild and get back to that championship form. Now, Masai Ujiri is a guy who we've seen in the past be very aggressive. I mean, you traded away what is considered to be your best player in franchise history in DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard, and you ended up winning a ring for it. So we know he's able to be aggressive, and he doesn't hold back. If he wants to do something, or if he sees change needs to happen, he'll do it. So that's just what I see in my eyes, just speeding up the rebuilding process, getting back Markelle Fultz and Mo Bamba. And from the Magic standpoint in this, I just look at it like this. Markelle Fultz, we don't know what he'll be when he come back. We have seen he really recently there's been some shooting videos that have came out on him. I'm optimistic, but for the past 2 seasons, he's been a bust. I can say that injury, that shoulder injury that he had, I don't even know what it's called, because it's so rare. Something like that has never happened, I believe, in the NBA. You see stuff like that happen in MLB. He's had surgery for it. I don't know. He hasn't played basketball in a year. He's young. I don't know if he'll come back and, light the NBA up as, he was expected to do. So that's just my process. If the Magic are looking at it as if Markelle was a project that we traded basically nothing for, and it didn't turn out to be anything. It didn't turn out to be good. He'll be shipped off to Toronto, where he can hopefully, be a backup to Fred VanVleet, or maybe even start. Maybe. And then Evan Fournier will probably just be a cap filler. In my opinion, Evan Fournier, he's not really good. I don't know, Magic fans maybe agree or disagree. I don't think Evan Fournier is all that. And his contract is huge, and he has 3 years left. I don't know if the Magic want to keep that going. And Mo Bamba. Now, Mo Bamba has been talked about a lot. He's been in trade discussions, trade rumors, so to say. Windhurst around trade deadline said that Mo Bamba was available. And I don't know. Re-signing Nikola Vucevic only hurts Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba was obviously going to be a project player coming into this league, but last year he didn't do much, and he was injured. He needs to gain weight. He needs to put on some muscle at that, and he just needs to get better. And I don't know if he can grow as much as I want him to sitting behind Nikola Vucevic, as neither of those guys, Mo Bamba and Nikola Vucevic, are guys who can play the power forward position. They're strictly centers, and they also, even if they were able to, they still have a logjam at the front court. You have Jonathan Isaac, Al-Farouq Aminu, who you just signed. You have Aaron Gordon. You have Chuma Okeke. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name. And then again, Nikola Vucevic and Mo Bamba. I don't know. Personally, as I said before, I don't really like this trade. I don't know. It's interesting. Tell me your opinions down below in the comment section of this trade. But yeah, that's the first trade. It's an iffy one. I'm not gonna lie, it definitely is. But the next player that the next player who I believe, the Orlando Magic should trade for is Collin Sexton. Now, here's another interesting one. This, in my opinion, doesn't sound like a win now move to you guys, but again, this rides on a lot of ifs. But looking at what Collin Sexton did last year, obviously I'm a Cavs fan, so I know a lot about him. Personally, should the Cavs trade Collin Sexton? I don't think so. Last year he started off the year poorly. Veterans were getting on him, and then he had a strong finish to the year. First off, he played in all 82 games, which is great to see. Played just under 32 minutes a game, averaged just under 17 points, 43% from the field, 40% from three, just under 3 rebounds and 3 assists exactly. For a rookie, those are good stats. And as I said earlier, this would be, again, a lot of ifs on this trade. But the trade that I have for this is Collin Sexton for Mo Bamba straight up. Now, looking at it from both sides, I'm just going to go over the ifs for the Orlando Magic. The first if is if Markelle Fultz, again, as I said earlier, doesn't turn out to be what you expect him to be. Maybe that injury is lingering and it's hurting him a lot, and he just isn't able to go back to the player that he was once looked at to be. Also, you're in desperate need of a point guard. I'm just going to say, you had DJ Augustine playing last year, and you traded for Markelle Fultz. It's obvious that, you're in the looks for a point guard, and hopefully Collin Sexton can continue this trajectory that he's on. I definitely see Collin Sexton being like a 20-point per game scorer this year. That's something that I definitely see him doing on good defense, because Collin Sexton is a guy who maybe he's not the best defender in the league, but he's a guy who tries. And, that's what you like to see from defenders is effort. Being a great defender is not all about talent. It's about effort. If you can put effort forth, you can turn yourself into a good defender. And then looking at this from the Cavs standpoint, I know there may be some questions for trading for Mo Bamba for the Cavs, especially looking at it as like the Cavs currently have 4 or 5 centers, I believe. Tristan Thompson, John Henson, Larry Nance Jr., Ante Zizic, I believe are their 4 centers currently. Those are 4 centers currently. And then they have Marquise Bolden, who they have on a 2-way contract. So it's iffy, but from the Cavs standpoint, but for me, as I view it, Mo Bamba would be such a great center for the Cavs to have. Talk about what his potential is, what he could potentially give you on defense, and that's a guy who the Cavs will definitely play 30-plus minutes a night. And looking at their logjam, Tristan Thompson, his contract is over at the end of the year. Same thing for John Henson. Larry Nance Jr., you can, argue that maybe he's more of a power forward than he is a center. And then Ante Zizic, we still don't know what's going to happen with Ante Zizic. He hasn't really shown much. He's shown flashes, but I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if you would call this another iffy trade. Again, a lot of this rides on how Mo Bamba develops, how Fultz turns out to be. And from the Cleveland side, I didn't even mention, this trade will probably only happen. It probably won't happen, first off. But in my in my idea, excuse me, this trade will only happen if Collin Sexton and Darius Garland don't work out. You know, that's been the talk of the summer for the Cavs, is will Darius Garland and Collin Sexton work out? Me personally, again, I'm optimistic. We'll have to wait till the season to see, but again, this will probably be another trade deadline type of thing that you do if you're Cleveland and if you're Magic. But those are it for those two trades. Now here's the big trade, the cream of the crop, the player that the Magic just go for this player, and that is DeAngelo Russell. Now, DeAngelo Russell really lit it up last year, finally coming to his own and showing that he was worth that number 2 pick. And last year, first time All-Star, even though, you know, he wasn't a natural All-Star, he was a reserve player. I believe he came in for Victor Oladipo after Victor Oladipo went down with that injury. But last year put up 21 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists on 43% shooting from the field. Just love to see it. He's on the Warriors now, and a trade that I have in mind, it's iffy. You know, it's iffy for me, but I would think that the trade would have to be centered around Jonathan Isaac, Markelle Fultz, potentially Mo Bamba. You know, your young guys, a plethora of that, or a combination of that. Probably Evan Fournier, and swap out Markelle Fultz to make the salaries match. But yeah, Evan Fournier, Jonathan Isaac, Mo Bamba, and probably 2 first-round picks for DeAngelo Russell. I know Magic fans are really high on Jonathan Isaac, but when you have you know, the chance to trade for an All-Star, you go after 100%. DeAngelo Russell will do so much for this team. I mean, talk about the pick and roll with him and Aaron Gordon. The big three of Aaron Gordon, Nikola Vucevic, and DeAngelo Russell. I don't know if it'll get you out of the second round personally, but that's definitely an intriguing, you know, big three for now and for the future. Talking about DeAngelo Russell is what, 21, I believe, or 22? How old is DeAngelo Russell? DeAngelo Russell is 23, excuse me, actually. And Aaron Gordon, I believe, is also 23. So for the next 5, 6, 7 years, that's a great duo, you know? And then even with Nikola Vucevic, that's a great big three. And if it doesn't work out for Nikola Vucevic, you can then trade Nikola Vucevic for more pieces, for more parts. And looking at it from the Warriors standpoint, I mean, there's been some rumblings about the Warriors potentially trading DeAngelo Russell at the trade deadline. If it doesn't work out, I could definitely see it happening. I mean, DeAngelo Russell and Stephen Curry, backcourt, offensive-wise, it looks amazing. You know, talked about a guy in Stephen Curry who can put up 30 points per game on super efficient numbers a night. And then DeAngelo Russell, who's going to take that next step and be, hopefully, that 23 to 25 point per game scorer. But again, defensively, I just don't like it. It'll probably be bad. And the Warriors, they just have no bench. So trading for Mo Bamba and Jonathan Isaac and Evan Fournier, for one, gives you 2 great potential defenders, and Mo Bamba and Jonathan Isaac. And then Evan Fournier can be that backup 2 for you guys, that backup scoring off the bench that you need. But that's how I viewed it in my head. Again, these are all iffy trades, you know. But before I end the video, I just want to say that's what this series is based about. I just want to use players. I just want to use different players on each team. So that's why I try to use guys like Kyle Lowry and DeAngelo Russell and Collin Sexton, players that more than likely won't be traded this season. Instead, because I could definitely come on here and talk about Bradley Beal, who's been in trade talks a lot for all of the teams that I've used in the past couple of videos. I can talk about potentially Chris Paul. You know, that's a player who looked at to be traded. You know, there's universally a lot of teams that can go out there and get him, but I don't know. I just try to mix it up a lot, and if I have to, I'll, you know, repeat the same players. But that's what I'm doing with this series. So that's why in the comments, if you guys want to say, oh, why did you talk about such and such, there's no way he gets traded, you know, I'm just in an alternate universe. Of course, I'm not going to use players like Giannis and LeBron and Stephen Curry, because those guys, no way those guys will get traded. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy. Please like and sub and share with your friends. Please drop a like on this video, guys. Please subscribe too. We're on the road to 100 subscribers. That's my goal by the end of 2019. Hope you guys did enjoy. It's So Sports, and I'm out. Peace.